What's up, y'all? So, obviously, over the weekend, Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz talked about by Turkey and Oscar De La Hoya. And then also, Shakur Stevenson, Zepeda, fighting Terence Crawford. Fighting on the Terence Crawford Vergil Ortiz card. Let's talk about why this shit don't make no sense at all, bro, and why it's highly unlikely to happen. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Catch me live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm also live every Sunday morning with the Singing OG, KQKC Boxing Network, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats and super thanks when you come by the live streams, the videos that we do. And hit me up if you want to debate. knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email. Or you can just pull up on the channel while I'm live. We can debate right then and there. But let's get to it. Look, bro. Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz. Let's start there. This fight don't make sense on so many levels, right? And I don't think it's going to happen because of these reasons. Number one, Vergil Ortiz had to go to the hospital after fighting Serhaj Bahacek. So, is he going to be available to fight anytime soon within the same time frame that Shakur Stevenson and Zepeda will be able to fight? Because he allegedly got his nose broke, had to go to the hospital after the fight. And then, so will he be ready? The other reason is how Vergil Ortiz looked in that fight with the lack of a roster at Golden Boy. Does Golden Boy feel confident enough in him to just feed him to Terence Crawford like that? Because you got to keep in mind, Ryan Garcia, he's on suspension, and you never know with him, he's a wild card. And then who else they got? They got Zepeda. They got Zerto Ramirez. Who else? So are you going to feed Vergil Ortiz to Terence Bud Crawford just to try to get him a bag and try to get yourself a bag if you Golden Boy and ruin your company in the future because you ain't got nobody signed to it? Think about it, bro. And then also look at how they were talking after the fight. Oscar De La Hoya, Vergil Ortiz wasn't having that same energy after how Vergil Ortiz looked against Serhaj Bahacek. Bernard Hopkins talking about Vergil Ortiz versus Charles Conwell, or Robert Garcia talking about Bahacek deserves a rematch and shit. So that side ain't seeming too keen in getting in the ring with Terence Bud Crawford. Then for Terence Bud Crawford's side, Turkey said big fights. Turkey, y'all held Turkey for quote unquote giving you the fight that fans want to see, and he's doing this and doing that. No one's asking for Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz. And then what Turkey's gonna have to explain, what Terence Bud Crawford's gonna have to explain, and what his fans are gonna have to explain is, what does Vergil Ortiz bring to the table for Terence Bud Crawford? Because now it's going to start to be looking like some picking and choosing going on, because Vergil Ortiz brings the same thing to the table that Jerome Boots Ennis brings to the table from a legacy perspective. Absolutely nothing. A young fighter that's not that accomplished, that Terence Bud Crawford would be doing a voluntary defense of his 154-pound WBA title. So why pick Vergil over Boots Ennis? More winnable fight? Not as risky based on their performances recently and their skill sets? What will Vergil bring that will make Bud Crawford want to fight him? See, he got away with the Madrimov shit because Madrimov was a champion. But we were told Bud got bigger fish to fry. We were told Bud is chasing legacy and big fights. Vergil Ortiz is not a big fight for Terence Bud Crawford. The only big fights for Terence Bud Crawford are unification fights at 154 pounds, or fighting Jermell Charlo, because that one would do pretty good numbers at 154 pounds, or if he's somehow able to snag the Canelo Alvarez fight. And hell, Bud and Boots is bigger than Boots and Vergil, based on what fans are asking for. So it don't make no sense for Bud Crawford at this point in his career. So that's why Bud and Vergil don't make sense fighting anytime soon. And then the other thing, how long is Vergil gonna wait? Because we have to go off of Bud Crawford's recent history. And since 2019, he's been fighting one time a year. So they're talking about the summer of next year, the fall of next year. Because if you look at their schedule, they've already said they got the Tyson Fury Alexander Usyk fight coming in December. They got the Beterbiev Bivol fight coming in October, and then they looking to make a card next year. In the spring of next year, which leads me to Shakur and Zepeda. They purse bid is August 20th. How they gonna share a card with Bud Crawford if the next Riyadh season card is gonna be the first quarter of next year? You think Shakur Stevenson and Zepeda gonna wait that long? Or they can wait that long? They gonna wait another 7 months to fight? In March or some shit? What is it, August or February or some shit? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. That's 6 months. You think they ain't gonna wait 6 months from the time that the fight is ordered or worked out or whatever? So that shit don't make no sense. Cause they ready to fight right now at the end of this year. So how are they gonna share the card with Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz if that fight can happen the earliest, the first quarter of 2025? Because Turkey's plans are already done for this year. We got 2 more cards this year, one in October, one in December. One in October, one in December. Then, just Shakur and Zepeda from a being on the undercard perspective. That's a step back for Shakur. Zepeda would love it. You get him a little bit of raise, get him some money, get his world title shot. But if you Shakur Stevenson, you've been headlining events. You've been the marquee. You done built yourself up to, you supposedly supposed to be a star. And you gonna take a step backwards in a fight. Let's keep it 100. Do we know that Terence Crawford versus Vergil Ortiz is a bigger fight and a more attractive fight than Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda? They about on the same level. Bud may be a bigger name, slightly, but look at the performance of his last event. So why does it make sense for a fight that could be bigger, that could be more intriguing to fans based off of how Zepeda has been looking and how Vergil just looked, based off of how Bud Crawford has looked excellent and Shakur Stevenson not so much? Fans would perceive that fight to maybe be closer, maybe be a better fight, and that's the one that will go on the undercard. So that shit don't make no sense. That shit don't make no sense. Shakur Stevenson and Zepeda and Terence Crawford and Vergil Ortiz, if you ask fight fans right now based on recent performances, fighting styles and skill sets and accomplishments and the dog of a fighter, I guarantee you a lot of people would say Zepeda would have a better chance for the upset than Vergil would. That's just being real, bro. That's just being real. So for Shakur Stevenson's career, being put on the undercard don't make no goddamn sense. None whatsoever. So I hear what they're saying, and that's why you can see Golden Boy kind of backtracking on it. That's why you can hear Turkey keep saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. He trying to get shit done, but Shakur and them ain't made the fight yet. They ain't committed to him. Same for Oscar and them. Sound good, but they ain't committed to it. And then Bud Crawford, do he want to fight Vergil? Do he want to fight Vergil? Because he made his goals clear. Undisputed at 154 for a third time, or trying to get the Canelo fight. How does Vergil play into those plans? So when these promoters say something, or they talk in these interviews, it sounds good. But you got to ask yourself if it makes sense. And if you just look at when Riyadh season having another card, which is the first quarter of 2025, that don't make sense for Shakur and Zepeda. They need to fight this year. If anything, if Shakur and Zepeda happen, it'll probably be on just the regular Golden Boy card where they'll be the headliner. That's why you hear Oscar De La Hoya talking about can Shakur Stevenson sell tickets. Which it's a good fight, but we all know the fight is Tank versus Shakur, so Shakur Zepeda ain't something I'm pushing for right now. If I get it, it's a good fight. I'll be happy for it, but it's not what I want. So I'm going to push for what I want until, you know, it becomes a point to where it can't be a reality anymore. And for Terence Bud Crawford, he chasing big fights. It's going to look real contradictory if he fight Vergil Ortiz while saying Boo Tennis bring nothing to the table. It's going to look real cherry pickerish if he pick Vergil Ortiz after Vergil Ortiz's performance against Serhaj Bahacek. It's going to look crazy if he chooses to fight him. So all these things that Turkey is talking about and the fights he want to make, it just don't make sense, bro. It don't make sense for anybody at this point in their career. It don't make sense for Golden Boy's business, who he just signed a partnership with. It don't make sense for them to feed Vergil Ortiz to Terence Crawford after how he looked against Serhaj Bahacek. It makes sense for, Vergil to fight Bahachek again in a rematch. Maybe Vergil to fight Charles Conwell. It makes sense for Terence Crawford to be fighting other champions, bro. Or big name fights that people are asking for. Where people perceive that he could lose the fight to make it more intriguing, and then more people will tune in and buy it. It has a better chance to be more profitable. And then he can go show people that it ain't what they think it is, bro. And he can dominate it, do what he do. That's what makes sense. So if they looking for an in-house fight for Terence Bud Crawford, I think Jerome Boots Ennis is the fight. If they looking for the biggest fights possible for Terence Bud Crawford, you gotta find a champion at 154. You know, Spence Fundora winner, because that fight's going down later on this year. The Tim Tszyu Murtazaliev winner, assuming it's Tim Tszyu. Turkey, get out your feelings. Try to see what you can do with Tim Tszyu and Terence Crawford. If it's gonna be just a defense, Jermell Charlo. If you're just doing a defense, Jermell Charlo will be a mandatory as a WBA champion in recess, so you can get that shit out the way. And it's a way bigger fight right now than Terence Crawford versus Vergil Ortiz, bro. Way bigger fight. Undisputed champion at 154 that didn't lose his belts in the ring. That shit easy to sell. Easy to sell, bro. And if you Shakur Stevenson, bro, you don't need to be on nobody undercard at this point in your career. How's that making your name bigger? How's that getting your buzz growing for a potential Loma fight, for a potential Tank fight? Fighting on somebody undercard. Then you fight on the undercard, they overpay you, they overpay Bud opponent, and then you run the risk of that event losing money. It's not gonna get you what you want, which is to be able to have more negotiating power and more leverage in the negotiations with a Tank Davis. You wanna have that type of power in negotiations with a Tank Davis, you go get on somebody undercard and that fight lose money. How does that help you, bro? How does that help you? So if Shakur Stevenson is going to fight Zepeda, they need to be on a main event somewhere later on this year, so that not only he can have a chance to do good numbers and be the main attraction and be the marquee, also to put him on the same timeline as Tank, because we know Tank fighting in November. Obviously, we hope all of this shit get dead and then Tank and Shakur announce they fighting each other at the end of the year. But if it is Zepeda, it makes absolutely no sense for Shakur Stevenson or his team to be put on a goddamn undercard like Jay Prince, Josh Dubin. I hope they better than that to allow Shakur Stevenson to go from headlining event after event after event, quote unquote, breaking these records they talking about and being the most watched fighter on ESPN like they say he is and like they love to brag about, and then let somebody go stick him on the undercard, bro. That shit don't make no sense whatsoever. So if we getting Shakur versus Zepeda, Shakur and his team need to find a way to holler at Turkey, holler at Golden Boy, and be like, yo, we need this shit on the main event. We can't be on no Bud Crawford undercard. Love my big brother Bud. Support him in everything he do, but I deserve to be main event just like he main event. So put a card up under us and let's just do our own card, if that's the route that they gonna go. And if you Terence Crawford, Turkey, you promised me big fights. You said you give me any fight I want. So if Turkey go get Vergil Ortiz, I can't help but wonder, like, did he want Vergil Ortiz? And if he wanted Vergil Ortiz, why he want him and not Boots? If he want Vergil Ortiz, why he want him and not one of the other champions? That don't make no sense. So we'll see how this all play out. A lot of people think that this shit is confirmed, that it's done. All I hear is people saying a bunch of shit that they want to do. A pipe dream. Oh, I want to make this fight. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, let's do it. All right. But then when that paperwork start getting passed around, people start thinking about they business and shit. And you look around, you got Ryan Garcia, Vergil Ortiz, Williams Zepeda, and not much else. If you Oscar De La Hoya, why the fuck would you feed him to Bud Crawford one fight coming off of how Bahachek was just able to look really good in that fight? You getting caught with right hands and left hooks by Bahachek, and he ain't really got no timing like that. He's slow. You gonna put his ass in there with Bud Crawford? All right. Coming off of that performance and how easy he was to hit in that fight, boy, fuck around, get countered into oblivion, and they know it too. That's why they tune changing. Oh, I think Conwell and Ortiz is a good fight. Shit, Conwell might be too much for that dude, bro. Real talk. Based on their most recent fights. But Hot Tech rematches to play for Vergil. Bud need a bigger fight than Vergil Ortiz. He killed the fight by putting on a bad performance against Hot Tech. A bad performance in terms of being dominant. Not a bad performance in terms of dog and heart. Hot Tech is just a good fighter. But because he fought that good fighter, it kind of exposed some holes in Vergil's game. He got to go back to the drawing board. So we'll see how this shit all play out. But I'm here to tell you, me for one, it's still Tank versus Shakur for me. And it's Terence Crawford in a big fight for me. It's what I want to see. And Crawford, Vergil Ortiz, Shakur Williams, Zepeda, albeit good fights. Them not the fights we pushing for right now. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment below, smash a like, sub to the channel. See y'all soon, man. We out of here. Peace.